Good evening in Spill Glimmers, and welcome to this DLC Richmond recap. Drew, welcome back home.
Hello.
This is a very, I want to say happy moment for us because you're going back to Disneyland.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your top 32.
Thank you very much. Very happy about that. That was the only goal going into the weekend. I couldn't be more psyched.
Nice. We're going to come back to what you were playing, to details of what the event went. But just before, if you're following us, you might have heard us talking about this little Mulan here that we're going to be giving away very soon, courtesy of one of our
Viewers.
players here in Quebec and one of our viewers, Ras. To win it, all you have to do, either follow us on Twitch or follow us subscribe here on YouTube and fill out. There's a short form that's going to be in the description of this video. Very, very simple, just a way for us to be able to contact you since there's no whispers on YouTube. If you're subscribed to both, even better, you have two chances. And 1 week from the release of this video, we're going to do the giveaway of this foil Mulan charging ahead that we are going to send to you wherever you are. Just be on the lookout for this. But let's talk about Richmond. So before we dive into all the meta and everything, how was your experience?
I want to say,
like, we remember Milwaukee was on the rougher hand of things.
yeah,
The organization was far from flawless. It was Pastime's first foray into Lorcana, and it showed. Did they do better this time?
I would personally, from what I saw, it was miles ahead of what we were treated to in Milwaukee. I want to say some things that I mentioned that other people mentioned that were executed really well this time. Prize wall was very effective. No excessive lines. Tickets were given to the tables for the side events. There was no waiting to go get your prize tickets in
A
line.
1 hour line to get the tickets at the end.
That was I think it was one of the worst things by far that I if I didn't have friends to pull me ahead of the line. They were like, "Hey, Drew, you are with us, right?" Whoop, and that was it. I do I have to say that the organization was not flawless. Also, it was much better. I think there is still a way to make it even better than it was. I think you heard about some things going on.
Yeah, there was a mix-up regarding the mega event on Saturday where most of the community and the people entering understood it as being a cumulative prize pool where, oh, you win this promo for one win, then this extra promo for two, and so on. Where in reality it was meant to be you win the highest prize that you win and that's it. So like you could win a Simba, but not the Mulan or the Elsa or so instead of being cumulative. And they ended up on Sunday kind of going back on it, looking at their stock, being like, yeah, we're going to be able to give everyone the cumulative wins prizes. And they kind of made it work. So kudos on them for reacting fast to it.
Yeah, because it didn't make sense to not be cumulative. Everything has been cumulative from the beginning of Lorcana, and also it is kind of a weird spot of maybe some people really wanted that Mulan promo and didn't care about the Simba, you know.
Yeah, so
So
like
so what
you're
you're starting?
punished for winning more.
Yeah, in a way, what you're gonna start conceding, or just you're gonna drop from the event to stay at the number of wins of the promo you want. That's just weird.
Yeah. But overall, great event is what you experienced.
Very good. It was on par with the good ones from last year. It ran smoothly. Even the main event didn't go overly long. Sometimes there were waits, but this is just how
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is in the,
it's what those events are.
yeah. There are judge calls. There are time extension for the player. Sometimes I want to say the system doesn't cooperate, but that's not even it because the Ravensburger Play Hub was, I want to say, surprisingly really, really, really smooth this whole weekend, with between set champs happening locally, the 2000 players in the main event, all the side events, everything ran kind of smooth. There was one mix up on Sunday where they had to cancel the big Infinity event and just recreate one, but even there it kind of just was a 30-minute delay, if I remember correctly, that my friends told me. So
Okay, so not so bad.
yeah, it's not so bad. Like, okay, it sucks to be like seated for 30 minutes and just to
Yeah, but I
wait,
mean,
but still, like they did the player meeting and everything meanwhile, so it wasn't just lost time, you know?
okay, that's good. And now let's get into the metagame itself. So what did you bring to the table for anyone who hasn't seen your face on like Facebook on the social media posts of the deck
So
lists?
for people that like didn't look at the channel, didn't talk to me during the weekend or whatnot, didn't see the list on Instagram, Facebook, and everything, I was playing Blue Steel Control Ramp. I was the only Blue Steel in the top 32, so I was really happy about that. I think I fathom I made a good choice, and also I, without like throwing myself flowers, I think I mastered the deck pretty well. Uh, Being able to really maneuver between a very very varied matchup spread. Like I haven't sent you my little sheet where I kept my matchups like Patrick does and Phil does. I started doing that too, but like if you're curious to know, like I played against in my 12 rounds, I played against two blue greens, two blurples, two purple steels, two yellow purples, two dogs, one red purple monstro combo, one red yellow. You know, it was very very like diversified, which is something I will still kind of herald about this metagame. It is very wide. You have the choice of what you want to do with it, and if you master your deck well enough, you will get wins out of your good matchups. Sometimes some decks can be polarized. Some decks are maybe a bit too consistent at being good against everything. You know,
We're gonna get on that in just a second. But congratulations again on your top 32. It's good to know you're going back to Disneyland. I know you've been working really hard for it, so
thank you.
really, really happy to see you get back there.
And like shameless plug, I probably will re-mention it at the end of the video. I am writing a guide for Metafy about my deck. If you are interested at knowing the nitty gritty about it for your upcoming set champs, I know there are only like 4 days of set champs left. The season's is almost over, but still, if you're interested in that, I'm working on that, and it will be released like by the end of the week probably.
Okay, that's good. But let's go see what everyone else was playing. You mentioned a very wide spread, and if we look at the day one spread, I have to kind of agree. Because I ran some maths on it. It looks like a really wide meta share, 25%, and then 17, 14, 10, 9, 8, 6%. Like, really, really good spread overall. Except when you start looking at the trends and you see that 60% of decks, give or take, are Amethyst decks.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like
And like,
it wasn't a secret that amethyst is the best color in the game right now.
yeah, but to me, the story is not so much like there's 60% Amethyst, and then there's 9.5% or about 10% of Ruby, nine of which are Ruby Amethyst. So we're really playing a five color game right now, is what this tells me.
Yeah, this has been like a very notable problem as of last metagame in Fabled, and it's kind of still showing here in the Whispers in the Well metagame. I know we have a good friend from Saguenay, Nic who have to give props to. He was in contention until like super late in day
Yeah, he
two.
was 7-1 at the end of day one, but after being like 6-0 or something like that, he
Yeah,
had a really good day one record
and he
in
was
Ruby
on
Amethyst.
yeah, he was on Ruby Amethyst, and I told him without wanting to insult you, man, you have some really really I want to say big cojones for bringing for bringing that deck, which I felt was not very favored, but he did amazingly with it. His decks were really good. I looked at his deck once day two was done, and I was I don't want to say I was surprised. I wasn't surprised, but he had a very good read about the metagame.
I mean, that's we know he's a good player, so I'm not surprised that he brought something that he was able to master and pilot well, but he definitely is one to not play the traditional good meta deck that everyone expects to be seeing.
He was a Mufasa player after all in
Yeah.
the early metas.
But when you look at it, really big share of Amethyst Steel and Amethyst Sapphire at the top, but it's Emerald Sapphire that ended up taking the top two spots of it. And if we look at the conversion rates, well, more if we look at the day two meta share first, we can see that Amethyst Steel got knocked down a peg, but still was very close. Amethyst Sapphire grew to 25%, Emerald Sapphire about 20%, and like all going down from here with, everything Ruby basically going to zero
Mm,
on day two. But when you look at the actual conversion rates here, you can see that, green, blue, and blurple are the two big winners of this event, as well as dogs. But when it comes to day two conversion rate with like 1.44 for green, blue, and 1.39 for blurple. So these are the two decks that really managed to go through the field favorably and pull ahead for day two.
yeah, like we have to give. I just want to give the credit to DKP. This is his Excel sheet for the conversions. He was really dedicated at doing that, and I'll give credit where credit is due. And it is.
I okay, I don't want to throw shade, but I won't call copying numbers dedication. Like this is a 30-second job.
I understand that, but like
But yes, it is. He took the time to do it, which made us not have to do it and just be able to use it. So thanks DKP for doing that. I'll give credit for that, but I won't say that it's a lot of effort and dedication. It's literally just the numbers from the two previous spreadsheet in an Excel with like a conversion rate on it. It's
Yeah, no, I mean that he did it. He posted it
yes,
for everyone to be able to access it. Like this is a small, tip of the hat.
yes, it's really appreciated to have access to it. Um, but yeah, no, and one blue steel player making it top 32. So
He
good
didn't
job on the
believe
conversion.
he didn't believe in it. Like he made a post about his takeaways, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Ruby Amethyst and Blue Steel are really cute decks that I don't really see being in contention." Well, he has his ways to see the thing. I think the deck was really good if you know what you're doing and exactly what you're aiming for. Anyway,
And before we jump into the actual list, there's a big debate that the results have sparked. Apart from, I don't even want to blame Sky for like the misplays of the last game. It's a 12 and a half hour day after a 12-hour day. You're going to be exhausted. And I'm sure he feels really bad for, inking that
you're
you're
welcome.
welcome on the second to last turn and the Clarabelle the turn before, something like that. Two cards that would have won him the game if he had just kept them.
Not challenging with the Clarabelle that was
Yeah. And bouncing
improvised.
with the Basil instead. Like, there's a few misplays there, but at the end of 12 and a half hours, especially when you're playing a deck that more often than not will close in on time, like Green Blue will do, because it's a really, really grindy deck. You're not,
Especially the mirror. Oh,
yeah. And the games that you're going to win, like, you're not going to win them in 30 minutes out of 50. You're going to win them in 45 minutes, 50, 55 minutes, because it's like, especially against another mirror match that can like grind along with you, there are very long games. So I'm not blaming him for that, but it was still a little bit painful to watch that game 5 at the end and see the match just slip away from him.
I think he was just all in all. Like I spoke with his teammate Sailor on the way back to home. Uh, I like we were talking in our Facebook of Quebecers that were there in Richmond, and I made like kind of a harsh statement. I was like, I disagree with like 50% of the plays that Sky was making. It's like I and that's what Pierre Marc told me. Like he assured me he was super tired at that point, and it, I was harsh because I was still a few hours fresher than
Yeah.
him, not playing, having recovered, having been able to eat, having like
Yeah,
I
and
would
not having the stress of, having a world invite on the line when you're looking at the
exactly.
cards in the line. And it's a very stressful play environment. But congratulations to both him and James for
Fungus.
making it to final. Fungus, thank you. And to Fungus, for winning the match at the end of the day. But it brought the question, is green blue really the best deck in the format? Because, it's in final it's the end of the season. I've seen a lot of people being like, oh my God, this deck is unbeatable. It's beaten everything. It was so great this weekend. This is the best deck in the format, bar none. What's your take on it? Because I disagree.
I do disagree too. The deck is gonna do amazing things in good hands. Like this is a deck that will reward the player immensely. It's no wonder like okay, I'm gonna say it. My only two losses in the 12 rounds of Swiss were to two green blue players. Both of them made top 32 too. This isn't like it's a very good I want to say testimony of how great the deck can be, and but you have to know what you're doing and you have to high roll a bit. Like none of those games that like and I played 6 games with it spread between 2 rounds. It was never like a blowing
Yeah.
crush out at the end. Like I fought tooth and nail these matchups, and it could have gone either way. I played against Wonderland, so Pierre Marc's teammate again, and Quincy, which was another player from top 32. I played in round 9 against him. Uh, you know, there were games where we missed ramp, but we were able to recover. It was all kinds of I want to say ins and outs and everything. The matchup is the deck is gonna reward a player that knows the deck in and out, that makes the right choices, that is very disciplined with mulliganing, with firing removal at the right time, being able to challenge when needed, to not challenge when needed, to bounce instead, to draw the cards, to get the most of card advantage when it is important. So this is really like the nature of the matchup, and I will say it, it might it might not be the best deck in anyone's hand. You have to be very dedicated to the deck and to play a lot with it for it to be great.
I also believe that it might have been the right deck for the event,
Yes, definitely.
but it's probably the deck that was the least, uh, I want to say, teched for by most of the other decks. You kind of just assume that it's going to be there, but we didn't see a huge amount of Ursulas or Mowgli's or like cards to really attack the strategy per se. Like most Blurple player were not running um, Spooky Side to try to like remove the Clarabelle and the Prince Philip or anything to really remove the Philip before it can shift. So they kind of had, I don't want to say free reign, but when no one is really targeting your strategy, it is still a little bit easier to make your way to the top in an environment that is super teched against Amethyst Steel and super teched against dogs because everyone was really fearing dogs this week.
Yeah, like I thought that dogs was gonna be a bigger part of the metagame, and I told people I think dogs is gonna be the second most played deck, and I was wrong. Blurple was, and dogs was only like the fourth most played deck at that point.
Yeah, so
I
having
think.
a deck that fares well against both Amethyst Steel and Blurple was definitely a good call for them, I feel.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like I think the deck was really well positioned. If you look again at the numbers and the conversion between day one and two, because it's a more, I want to say, uh, it's a bigger sample size.
Hmm.
Like you could say that Blurple was a very good choice as of a good all rounder.
Oh yeah.
Like the deck is more easily, I would say, fine tunable, but also not as it is a bit more resilient than purple steel is. Like like I have to say, purple steel is always gonna be that 50% ish deck that is kind of good or decent against everything. The thing is, people were very ready for it. The top 32 is showing it. There were very little purple steel for the number of people that brought it to the tournament, and that's the
Yeah,
thing.
only 5 out of 32 for a deck that were represented like a quarter
Yeah. So
of the
the
decks coming in.
so you can say that the conversion rate is really bad, and like it's always going to be when it's the most played deck, but still, you could assume, like I was assuming at the beginning of the weekend, that it might be a third, or like between a third and a quarter of top 32, and it was way less than that.
Well, let's jump into the lists themselves, and we're gonna see exactly why, like when we say Dogs was underrepresented and it might have benefited some other players. Both lists that made the top two, so both
Fungus.
Fungus and Sky, are lists that do not run Under the Sea at all. And I think it was Fungus in his interview afterward that said, like, we just proved that you don't need Under the Sea to win with blue green.
And they are right.
And they're right.
Like I told that if anyone wants to go back to my video about blue green that I made just before the tournament, the version I came up with I think had one under the sea and one spooky site, and they were like really more for emotional support than none. Like that's the thing. I don't think, like, what I understand less is the very small number of, well, the non-existence of Hadeses in both decks.
Yeah.
I think
No blue Hades
yeah.
anywhere to be seen.
This to me is kind of crazy. Like I would need to play some number of them because I think the card is one of the best blue cards that you have access to. But like definitely those guys know better. They played more
Yeah,
games than me. Like they played more games than me with the deck. They registered zero. They felt that they needed zero. I felt I needed four. I played four. They served me really well. You know.
but yes, it's a very interesting list for sure. No Hades, back to four John Silvers, and the basils that are there. Both lists are basically the exact same. The only difference being
One
one
improvise
difference in the improvise
and
and
John Silver.
one in the John Silver. Yeah, one runs three improvise, three John Silver. The other one ran two and four. But apart from that, it's the exact same list, card for card. So definitely an interesting choice to bring here. Served them really, really well.
Yeah, improvise was a big card. I feel like Sky was doing the big brain move of having three of them, like being able to deal very easily with the the Palace Guard and the and Yago,
Hmm.
like in a pinch, seemed amazing.
Or even just to like favorably trade a Cinderella into another Cinderella if you're like facing each other, or if the Clarabelles are facing each other, being able to trade Clarabelles and still keep yours. Very, very positive trade
Sure,
experience there.
exactly. And like I have to say, I was speaking to one of our friends that was on the deck that did kind of well. He went 9-3. Hi to Seb, Seb Villeneuve. He was saying like "Bend to My Will" is a super super important card in the deck. Like
Well,
he was,
it's surprising to me because I know you see and you draw a lot of cards, but the strategy of the deck really hinges a lot of on bend to my will because you're bouncing a lot of stuff, you're welcoming cards, you're really filling your opponent's hand. Oops. And if you don't have that bend to my will when you need it, it's really hard to come back. We saw it in game 5 where Sky was able to find it first, discard Fungus's bend to my will, and it took everything for him. Like it took misplay after misplay for him to be able to win that game. And I'm surprised. Like I know all the lists only run one, so it's probably completely fine to just run one. But to
yeah.
me, it's so counterintuitive.
Yeah, well, Seb was saying like if I had to go back into the tournament now, I would probably register two, and I was like, man, that's deep. That's very very deep. Running that seven drop uninkable. I understand Cinderella gets rid of it. I understand Tipo gets rid of it. Uh, but yeah, no, it's
Well, it's also a very low uninkable deck. Like I think there's what 7 here, if
yes,
I can count.
yep, that's exactly it.
So going from 7 to 8 is not something that is going most of the time to sabotage you, especially with Tipo and Cinderella on top of everything else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But still, if you give me the choice to run more Ninka balls, two Hadeses, at
No,
least,
you're probably better off running like more develop and vision to find it when you need it than
than actually
the
running a
opposite.
copy. Yeah, but the list is really consistent. I want to say. I feel that all the lists I've seen were in that general ballpark. Uh, Except some of them were running Under the Sea, some of them were running Hades, and whatnot. But the core deck is really solid. The
Yeah.
combo is still very good. It sometimes it takes a lot to come back from it. Just I'm giving the example. I always had to play around the combo by keeping up a Hades in case they would combo me by shifting the Philip, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you ink, but still you're not winning at
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
point. Yeah.
No, but it's interesting to me how like the deck has been present all season, but no one really like saw it as the big threat up until now, and it showed in the lists that people were bringing. Because if you're purple steel and you're expecting this to be a problem, you're gonna run 2 or 3 fire to cannons in your 1 drop slot because yeah, you remove the Clarabelle and like 2 times out of 3 the threat is eliminated. It's it's
Sometimes
really easy to be positive again. Well, not easy, but the deck hinges a lot on its shift lines. So if you're able to disrupt the shift lines even just a little bit, you're often good to be able to like take a sizable lead in the match.
it's a bit more complicated in that I've seen people running the fire the cannons during the day. One of my purple steel opponents was running two of them and said that the thing is, are you gonna see a lot of blue greens in your matchup spread when you're playing? He said, "Oh, they were amazing every time I faced them," but he also told me he only faced one of them in day
But no,
one.
that's what I'm saying. Like people were not expecting it, but it's more to the point of people being like, "Oh, this is the best deck." Well, it's the best deck when it's not overrepresented.
Oh, like if Dog starts playing like almost a full playset of Mowgli and Ursula, if Purple Steel plays more Fire the Cannons, uh, yeah, and also decks like Yellow Purple look really really good into this matchup. There were only two in top 32,
Hmm.
but that deck looks really good to be able to have the the Blurple strategy, but also access to Mowgli. So you disrupt the hand and try and go cheesy with
Access to Mowgli, access to Horseman Strikes for Philip, access to World's Greatest, which solves like three quarters of that deck strategy.
yeah. You're gonna get rid of so many things so efficiently that yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a very different spread. I would have liked to see Richmond a lot earlier in the season to
Yeah.
be able to see how people react to this, whereas now we're gonna have Winter Spell.
Yeah. Well, that I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to open an old subject we already spoke about. Uh, we really need more DLCs. Like I want the DLC early in the season. I want the DLC later in the season, and this is why season one was so great. You had one DLC a month almost,
Yeah,
so you had like two DLCs and a half during a set. At least I want one per set, and Winter Spell is not gonna have an NA DLC at
we're just
all.
gonna have Gant, right?
Yeah, like I'm gonna test for it, but it's so hard for like I have to test with people going to Ghent. I have to test with people down in Europe. Like it's harder to get like
Hopefully
my
next year, like they've solved the stuff before Coop came in, and we get an actual season.
well as we spoke with Coop in Milwaukee, he's not too worried about that from what he told us. He's really confident about just being able to deliver a better product, and I fully trust him on that. It's just it's getting it's getting later and later, and it I think it's normal to feel it the most now that we're like at the like half of the season, and we're
Halfway into
moving,
the season, give or take, yeah.
yeah, and we're moving towards the end, and like when I went into the tournament, I felt the urgency of like, okay, this is the last chance I have to qualify for NA Championship in core, barring an eventual CCQ in Canada.
SCCQ or yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
if I'm playing any, and that's the thing. Uh, and then it forces you to play Infinity. I know a lot of people have a really positive impression of Infinity. They're really hyped of playing Infinity.
But there's not as many data points, right? People just bring whatever, and most of the time, the biggest players are not playing the events because they're in day two. Like if you're in day two of the DLC, you're not playing the Infinity events, or you're probably not practicing and planning for the Infinity. So there might be a lot of spikes coming next set once this is well in two sets once this is the actual main event. But we'll see. Now moving down the line, third place we had the purple steel,
Mm-hmm.
and with some I don't want to say super spicy things because I know a lot of people were already moving on to that, but we've seen one copy of Benja. I've seen other lists with the Plutos. So definitely people were taking both dogs and the burn deck a little bit more seriously, having ways to deal with items to not be run over by the the Chromicons and all of that.
Yep. Like you see here, this is closer to one of the lists we came up with our team, where we were playing a lot more of the big stuff. I think they had to make a little more concessions to have some one ofs like Benja, like the Hypnotic Strengths. But you see here, three copies of Demona, three copies of Hades, like a lot of more top end. I think is necessary in that kind of grindier meta game where blue green blurple is getting better. Like you're not playing the full set of docks here. In the version we were playing, we only had two copies and had the full playset of the Mona because the Mona, spoiler alert, is a cracked card. Very, very good.
I
So
like her being a 3. To be fair, having played quite a bit of Purple Steel in the past 2-ish weeks, uh, I'm I'm happy with her being a 3 of, because for every time you're gonna be happy to see her and you're gonna be drawing 3 cards and all of that, there's a lot of matchups where you also, like, sure, she's inkable, but you don't really want to have two of her in your hand when you could have, you know, an Elsa or a Genie or whatever other card that's going to be only impacting you. Because, yes, tapping down your opponent is good, but a lot of the decks right now, because of the way blue green plays, because of dogs playing with almost no hand, because of blue steel playing with not a lot of hand, because of purple steel not having a lot of hands, are going to also be like, okay, you tap my stuff down, but I draw two, I draw three. And if you spend 6 ink, they're the first to be able to use it most of the time. So it's really a balance. So I think her being a 3 of is actually a good number. I've That's where I've settled myself for purple steel in particular. I think I run 4 of her in Ember Sapphire. Ember Amethyst.
yeah, I'm running four as well in yellow purple. Uh, Also, I think yellow purple has a little less card quality in some spots, so you are able to just have four of her. And all the times I've seen a player just like ink one, play one with, and that empties their hand. Like it happens really often.
Also, I'm really happy to see something that is fairly similar to how I built my purple steel, which is the more and more toolboxy approach to purple steel of having a lot of two ofs, like the two Calhouns, three Black Heron, two Jafar, so that you kind of cover a little bit of every single matchup because it's so wide. And they're all fairly interchangeable at the end of the day, but oh, you need the evasive in some games? Well, okay, you have two copies of the evasive that you might find. Sometimes the three body is more important because it's a more aggro matchup. Well, it's in there. So the wider the meta is, I think the better that toolboxy approach to purple steel feels, because you always have an out in the deck that's waiting for you.
Yeah, no, I think the Cobras are the testament to it. It's huge and it might win you the game out of nowhere.
I've won a few games with Cobra.
Yeah, like and Cobra bounce Cobra is something. Like you have Olaf in there, and getting 4 points of lore out of a Cobra feels messed up.
Yeah, my semifinal and final matches this weekend in Set Champ were against Blurpole, and I won one game in both matches with Cobra at the right time because it just does its trick, right?
Mm. It will win you games. It pulls you ahead when you need to.
Yeah. And in fifth place, we had Burn. A $13 deck won fifth place at the DLC.
I'm just not. I'm just like doing no with my head because this is the player that took down Phil in top 32. So my teammate Phil that was also in top 32 with me played against Nathaniel in top 32, and you know uh, fun fun little tidbit of information just because I had finished my top 32 game and I had to and I went to see his game, and they were in the middle of what I understood a 25-minute judge call where there was a mistake, a decklist mistake, where instead of the Palace Guards that the deck is running, the player meant to play Lil Johns,
Okay.
which I don't want to get my
Makes a lot
pitch.
more sense than Palace Guard because I've seen a lot more Little Johns than Palace Guards in those lists, to be completely fair.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get my pitchfork out about this because this was the kind of call that got a DQ at Continentals last year.
They've adjusted the rulings since, though.
Yeah, no, that's like
Now the rulings are very clear on this. It's I don't remember the ruling, but it's either a warning or a match loss, a game loss.
yeah, like he had the option of either acquiring Palace Guards, getting a warning, and playing the deck as such, or choosing to play the Lil Johns and getting a game loss for it.
Yeah.
Which is the normal resolution that I would have thought when I said to someone to go see the judges about misregistered deck list. But
But yeah, I mean, we're getting a judge program in place.
yeah,
That this isn't to me. This is in the past as much as it sucks.
yeah,
Ravensburger have done their mea culpa on this. They're getting better,
mm.
but it makes a lot more sense indeed to have four Little Johns here than four Palace Guards.
Yeah.
Because
You don't want it taken down by a one drop action.
no, and you're not going to challenge anything with this.
Never. You're just turning sideways every time.
You're just turning sideways up until the point where you don't even care what they do with your characters. You're just gonna play two cards and burn.
Mm.
That's all it's gonna
You,
do. But
you,
I'm
you,
happy to see it like making top five. It makes me laugh.
Yeah, we can wink at our stream from a few weeks ago where we tried the deck kind of extensively. That video was really popular, and I invite everyone that wants to see how the deck is running to go see that video.
It's
We
almost
have
that list card for card. I think that we're playing
yeah,
in that video, but it's not the list I brought on Sunday. Because since I had my playmat, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play something for fun, and I just had like the worst matchup game after game on this. It was super funny. I played against a Blurple, but like super non-conventional. No Tipo, no Sail. Playing Blue Fairy Evasive onto
okay,
into like you know who I played,
yeah, yeah,
but like a super spicy build, but that had exactly all the answers for what this deck was trying to do, which was super hilarious. I did manage to win, but then I played against a purple steel playing like four benches and like you know our player base. You know some of
yeah,
them like to run really non-meta stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like it was a fun but ultimately super terrible experience in terms of in
That's fine.
terms of winning.
That's fine. You had the playmat. That's the important part.
Yeah, you don't care as much in like when you're doing that. And then the third match I played, well, the second match I played against Circle of Life build that I kind of zoned out, forgot he was running the MMS combo, so I went like turn one Merfolk, turn two Merfolk Pegasus, and then he went okay,
MMS.
MMS, and I was like, oops,
Oops. No board.
no board, no setup, it was all on me. But no, that was a fun weekend and definitely a fun deck to play.
Yeah.
But it's it's a harder deck to pilot than people give it credit for, though, because
It's not as brainless as you
it is
might
it
seem.
is really tricky and there's a lot of decision in it. I really enjoy piloting it, but yeah, you make one mistake and the game just completely slips away from you.
You have to be conscious. Like I've looked at one of our local Quebecers playing that in the Friday event for fun, allegedly.
Uh huh.
I'm not gonna say who that was because that person made a huge mistake, and I was just like sitting beside them, looking in, and I was literally I couldn't fix my face at going like they had the win, they had the win on board, in hand. I mean, like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just needed to play the White Rose and then activate Inkcasters, and they were winning against their dog's opponent, which is a very bad matchup for the deck.
It is because they can outrace you.
Yeah, and then they just go like, oh, drawing Scrooge into, oh wait, I don't have ink to play my White Rose, I'm dead.
Oops. But anyways, that was Amethyst Emerald. Super funny to me to see it in fifth place as a $12 deck, proving that, money's and everything in Lorcana.
Nope.
Blurple did good. Dylan Crowley, not the person that did the best with the deck, still made top 8 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
But the person that got you out of the tournament with Blurple, so we kind of decided to talk about his list.
exactly. I wanted to talk about Dylan's list. If ever he's looking at this video, hi Dylan, was super nice playing against you. He was a very stand-up guy, very fun, very like we talked a lot before starting to play. I felt his list was the most, I want to say, square, very traditional Blurple. He was piloting it very very well. He got his Mickey out with it. So again, congrats on that. And here you see like the general idea hasn't changed that much since Fable metagame. We're playing some new cards of Whispers with like Cheshire Cat replacing most of your bells.
Sharkat, One Ursula, and the Woodchuck Guidebook, obviously.
Yep. So now you don't have to draw with some clunky songs that I used to love, the Second Star to the Right and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
the book is very very good. It's just like Friends on the Other Side, not on a song.
No, definitely works really well. The other two lists that did super good in Blurple were running one copy or two copies of Ink Runner.
Yep. So it's very good at
Was
breaking the
like the
mirror.
big spice of
Yeah,
the
like
list.
yeah, I want to showcase this list because it was more traditional, but like DKP wrote about it in his guide. He was running two ink runners. No wonder he also was in top eight along with Dylan. So yeah, ink runner very very good if you're in blue. I was running two copies of Ink Runner 2 in my list. It's really important to be.
I'm more surprised though to see Ink Runner in Blurple, and I'm not challenging them, but 80% of the deck is already evasive. Like sure it gives you the card draw when it comes in. I guess it's for the consistency, but there's not a lot of things apart from the elephant that you really need to give alert to versus blue steel where you don't have evasives.
It's important to give like your big bodies are on the ground. Hades, the Mona, Cheshire Cat, like they're on the ground. You want to be make them able to challenge and then have the cat activate or whatnot.
Yeah. I can see the play pattern. It just feels counterintuitive when most of your deck is already evasive.
Yeah, well, you have the space generally. You can just like probably go down one woodchuck and down one whatever silver bullet you have in
Yeah.
there, and you'll be
And
able
it
to.
replaces itself in your hand. So like I can see the call is just not something I would have naturally thought about. So it's a good tech, a good spice to bring into the deck for sure.
Hmm. It also makes like it makes you super super consistent on being able to remove evasives. You don't rely on either your evasive bodies on Hades or on Into the Unknown. Now everything is super threatening, so
Yeah, but in the late, like, I guess my main, I don't want to say concern, but it's something that's really more useful the longer the game goes
hmm
because there's no point. Like, this is a deck where your first 5 turns are already pretty much decided before you do anything, and you're not going to play the Ink Runner in the first 5 turns of the game. You're not going to replace your ramp with it. You're not going to replace your 4 drop with it. You're not going to replace your Elsa with it. So maybe on turn 5, you're going to play like a 4 drop and Ink Runner?
hear me out. The thing is, in a 12 round tournament, you are bound to miss ramp sometime.
But yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
you're supposed to lose that game, but I like I played some games where I missed ramp and still was able to get back into it because I was doing other stuff. Like at least you're doing that other thing. You get to ramp maybe a turn later, but you're still not super behind. Or if you can chain two ramps on turn four, you're kind of like caught up on on the turn. You're still ahead of your opponent and whatnot. And the Ink Runner is good at digging. Like it gets you a card.
It does, but at the same time, the most likely candidates, especially if we're looking at the list like this, is you're not running develops, you're not running visions. Would you rather have like a vision that guarantees you a ramp or just one more card? It's to me that's where the choice is harder. But again, they did super well, and I'm not a Blurple player at heart, so I'm not gonna contest what they're doing. It just doesn't feel the most natural to me when I look at the list.
See it this way. If you have your one drop and then you go into Ink Runner, you're still contesting. Like if you have like Rafiki into Ink Runner, you're still contesting a Dumbo on turn three. So it's not ideal, but you understand my point that
No,
you have to be.
I do, but I still feel like you're losing if you're spending your turn three sacrificing your only creature on board into a Dumbo,
I think you're happy with that trade
and,
though.
and you haven't ramped. Like,
Well, if you
'cause
find
if you
your like you find your ramp on turn three, you get to ramp and then ram your Rafiki into the Dumbo. If it, by some miracle it's tapped, you're happy about that trade every time.
yeah,
Also,
I just don't feel like I still feel you're way behind when that happens. Anyways,
yeah,
that's like I let's not dwell on the, the
and,
specificities.
and
They ran the
anyway,
deck, it worked, so clearly they know what they're doing. That's not my point at all.
it's not as dramatic nowadays to miss ramp as you have a very very good three drop. You used to not have any
Yeah,
three drop to
the cat
play into the
enables a lot of stuff, to be fair.
yeah.
And finally, let's look at the one dogs list that make it to top eight by not being a dogs list.
They're like way less aggro than anything I've seen in the tournament.
I was so surprised when I look at that list. Like the rhinos are there. There's no Daisy. Uh, you like to me they were taking against, I guess, green blue because you see like four Mowgli's, three Ursula, so you're definitely able to take apart something like green blue. But the trade off is you're not fast.
No, that's the thing. Like you see Donald Duck, like this is not an aggro card by any means. And you also see the Clarabelle three, the
The
contented
draw
wall,
card,
yeah,
Clarabelle.
yeah, the contented wallflower, which is like you don't run the big one, you don't run the small one, you don't have Circle of Life to bring back a big Clarabelle. Like
You don't
it's
even have big Clarabelle.
yeah, that's the thing. Like you're still only like your top end is still only Tramp and Lady.
Like this, we were talking about this before recording. This feels like a Circle of Life deck that just removed the Circle of Life and the targets, but didn't change anything else.
Hmm. You see some like consideration. You see Ursula Vanessa that wants to be able to like turbo sing under the sea, but you don't see like the Mickey Ember champion. I played against Diego Saz level 9001 in my second to last game of the tournament, and he was running the Ember champion, and I was panicked when I saw that card like on the board. Like,
It's one of my favorite cards of the set, to be honest. The Amber Champion, the games where the decks where it fits, it causes so much trouble because it sinks for eight, it makes bodies humongous, and then when you start dropping two or three of them, it's like, well, if you don't have blue removal, you're basically done.
hmm. Yeah, no, it's crazy. The card is really good, and I I'm kind of like baffled to not see it here because they're playing cards that want to be turbo singing under the sea.
Yeah, and they're like, I guess they probably thought there's not enough Ember cards there that would benefit from either make him be able to sing or benefit from the protection. But I feel like
Maybe.
there would have been space to put some more Ember cards that would have done that in it.
Yeah, yeah, like I would have had one copy of the Ember Champion
And
just
I don't get the
because
Rhino.
the Rhino is more reach for Under the Sea. Like
Oh,
it
yeah,
shrinks
yeah,
down
okay.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't see it in the Under the Sea sense. I was just thinking about it again from the aggro vision of what dogs usually are, but no, for Under the Sea it makes sense.
Yeah, because
That
like
and
you
Delos Moon Lullaby means that you're able to
shrink down
have
to
a little bit more
five,
rich. Yeah, yeah.
shrink down to 5 to a 2 to be able to catch it into the Under the Sea. Like again, the more I look at the list, the worse it looks in a way, just
Yeah.
because like
Because then
there's
you
no
want to remove a
Daisy,
5, you need 3 cards?
and also like no Daisy is crazy to me. Like one of the poster.
This is a spicy list for sure. And all the credit to Eddie for making it to top 8 with it. I'm sure he had a lot of thought process into coming up with like this specific version, being able to work it in and really figure it out. But this is another one of those lists that I look at and my brain cannot comprehend like how you're supposed to play it versus like and how it manages to fare better than either a Circle of Life list or a traditional dogs list because it seems like such a weird hybrid.
Mm, it looks like the mediocrest of both worlds.
But he made top 8, so probably likely isn't. But
No, no, no. That's it. There mostly is something about the play patterns that we don't get or that we just haven't seen in action.
and the thing with lists, especially like this one and like which one was it? Well, I want to say purple steel, but mostly the blue green list that we saw in the top 2. Those lists to me are really similar to the Zan combo list in the sense that the person making them has the vision for it and have like this is a list made for that player for their play style. And when I look at the dogs list, this is how it feels. It's a list that this player is probably able to pilot to top 8, but is not a list that you can just hand someone and be like, go do good with it. Because
To some extent, that's what my list is. Like people have asked me for my list of blue steel. They said like, "Oh, I did very good with it, but I went like 3-1 with it, not 4-0. I didn't get go all the way at the set champs. I went finals, but didn't get there,
mhm.
stuff like that." And that's like, okay, that's probably the extra 100 something games I played with the list that makes me understand it in and out, and I know exactly what I want to mulligan into, and you know,
Yeah, and there's cards that you put in because for your play pattern, for your experience, you know that in this matchup you need, the Arthur, for example, and if we look at your blue steel, but it's not something that any player can just pick up and be like, oh yeah, the Arthur is for that specific match, and if I'm not against that, it's just going in the ink and the TPO, and I don't care about it. So I have a feeling there's a story behind this deck when I look at it. We just don't know the story.
exactly.
So it looks like a weird 60 card pile that just tries to turbo under the sea and doesn't do much else.
I'd have to look at like because surely 80 was on some games on stream going into top 8. Probably I would have to go back and watch how he was running the deck.
But again, to me, this looks like a list that will benefit the most from matchups against blue green, and maybe that's what the list was really tuned in for, because you can attack their hand. The Under the Sea will catch the Clarabelle, the Philip, the Donald before they're able to take full benefit of it. The Rhino and Della's being super targeted at, oh, I can target a 5 power, like if a 5 strength character, like the best I can see is, okay, this is something that's going to benefit from them refilling my hand through to your welcomes through this. So, and just being able to under the sea them before they can combo and leave them with no action, no real cards, and dead in the water. So my best guess is that this is what they were trying to go for here, but I don't know.
Yeah, that definitely is.
But I wouldn't recommend anyone to take this specific dogs list and bring that to locals and be like, I'm going to win my set champ with this.
Go for probably a more
A
regular
more traditional list.
Like, have some Chromicons, have some Daisies, have some, the regular cards from dogs if you want to play that deck.
For sure. And for the rest of it, like, if you go onto Index, they did a really big job of pulling in like
Everything is there. I wanted to look at the list of one of my opponents from day one. I was able to find it. So everything is
yeah,
there.
all the 2000 lists are in it, right?
Yep, I think everything is in there.
Yeah. So whatever you feel like looking at, all the lists are there. If you want inspiration, there's even like a red steel, a ruby steel here list. That's really, really spicy. Just out of curiosity, while we prepare to wrap this Richmond episode up, I'm curious to see what the spiciest deck was in the tournament.
Probably the red steel list or something, right?
Well, there's a few like at 60 something percent. I'm just trying to see if we can.
Do with the arrow.
That's what I'm trying, and
It's not cooperating.
I'll give it because yeah, like it's 16, 16, 16, 68.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't think it wants to sort by spiciness, sadly, but no. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Drew, for taking the time for this recap episode of Richmond. Congratulations once again for your invite, and to everyone who got their invite. Phil last night got his second one.
Well,
And
it's gonna be a pass down.
Yeah.
He's giving the gift he did not receive in Bologna.
Exactly. But still, all congratulations to all the players, and to I really have a hard time with his
Fungus.
handle.
Fungus.
Fungus, thank you. He has the same name as someone really close to me, the same first name, so I remember his first name a lot easier than I remember his handle.
Fair
But huge
enough.
congratulations to Fungus for his first place and his World's invite. Really, really nice to see good games of Blue-Green on stream. It was fun, and super happy to hear the event went a lot better than Milwaukee went. I wish I could have gone to that one instead of Milwaukee, but
Yeah, that's from the outside looking in, right?
exactly. Once again, thank you all for still being here. If you're still listening, don't forget to go follow us on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube and fill out the little form to have your chance of winning this Mulan foil promo. And we will see you in a few days. But until then, keep questing.